Hello, welcome to another episode of Logan's Movie Reviews, and today we are talking about Almost Christmas from 2016, and I'm joined once again by One Silva. How you doing, man?
Hey, good evening, Logan. Good evening, movie fans. Happy belated Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as we do our annual Christmas movies. A movie that is basically a remake of this Christmas, a movie we did a couple of years ago because it's the fucking same plot.
I was wondering why it just seemed so familiar, but yeah.
It felt right. We did this Christmas 2 years ago, and once again, you look at this. This Christmas was a family that got together at Christmas, just like Almost Christmas, where the head of the family in this Christmas, it was the mother played by Loretta Devine, wanted to sell the house. In Almost Christmas, Danny Glover wants to sell the house, and of course the kids are like, "Oh no, you can't sell the house without telling me." You got a very young son, Chris Brown, in this Christmas. The kid who played Shaq's son in Almost Christmas. You got the youngest son, right? And then, of course, you got the bickering sisters, the fighting sisters, just like you had in this Christmas and in Almost Christmas. And one of the sisters has a husband that cheating on him.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, but either way, though, both are very good movies, and I love this movie. Even though I wish, and these two are it's a formula that Christmas movies, both black and white and Hispanic, have gone to. You know, you bring the bickering family together. You have turmoil. Somebody died, like a mother or son, so people are feeling, oh, we miss mama, we miss daddy. And then at the end, everybody comes together and kumbaya.
Right. Whatever, people go for it. It makes money. Hey, this thing doubled its money even more, so tripled its money.
And the sad part about it, and I hate this, because the woman is very talented. She's an Oscar winner, a great comedian. This was the last movie she's appeared in. She's been blackballed from Hollywood, and that's Monique.
Ever since she fucked around on not promoting some movie, what was the story?
No, she got into a feud with the director. What's the guy's name? He's the guy who Lee Daniels, who directed Precious, the movie which she won an Oscar for, and she was sensational, Precious. And I will never review that movie because that movie makes me want to throw the TV out the window and slit both my wrists. That, in my opinion, that is one of the 2 or 3 most depressing movies in the history of movies. Great movie. I watched it one time, and I don't know how I didn't fucking punch somebody in the movie theater. That shit was depressing. Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
But Monique was sensational. I mean, I hated the bitch in that movie. You know you're a great actress when you can play an evil motherfucker and play it to the T where motherfuckers want to shoot the screen, trying to shoot you. Monique's a great actress, and she cannot get work. So what? She's gotten to a feud with this director. She is talented. She turned down a Netflix offer because she felt they lowballed her, and now she can't get work. She got into a feud with Steve Harvey because Steve Harvey was like, "Oh, you got to humble yourself." And she said, "Shut the fuck up. Shut up."
She needs to go to Vegas. She'd be all right. She'd be fine. She could get herself an act in Vegas like that, man.
Shit, if J-Lo could get that non-talented bitch could get a Vegas gig, Monique will kill it out there. Please.
Hey, get off my girl, Jennifer Lopez. She actually. Did you see that movie Hustlers? How she looks?
I can't watch anything with Cardi B's ugly ass in that fucking movie. I can't watch Cardi B's ugly fucking face, and all she had was an ass, and she lost a lot of weight, so that ass is gone. Her accent is the most annoying. Her accent makes Rosie Perez's accent sound tender. Fuck that. I can't watch that shit.
Yo, but J-Lo looks good in that. I mean, unbelievable.
Aside, though, J-Lo looks better at 50 than she did at 20.
Right, right. She's amazing. So
J-Lo is one of the 5 most beautiful women in the world, but the bitch can't act. I mean, she'd have been great in the silent movie era where you could just look at her.
what about Beyonce? Have you checked out her acting?
Well, she's better than J-Lo, but that's not saying much. That's not saying
J-Lo's
much.
had more career. Yeah.
Yeah, Beyonce. Yeah, actually, J-Lo's had J-Lo best acting job is better than any of Beyonce's acting. J-Lo was sensational in a movie that we covered, where she had the chemistry with George Clooney. What was the name of that movie? That was,
yeah.
I mean, Clooney carried her, and Beyonce's never been that good in a movie. So
is that Out of Sight?
I agree with you there. No. Out of Sight, right, which is the only J-Lo movie I would recommend you guys watch. That was a great movie because George Clooney, I think he bagged it doing that movie, man, the chemistry they had.
Hey, that's good acting. It's like you wonder whether he did or not. So that's good acting right there.
Yeah, because they were looking at each other like, damn, I want you. Yeah, I want you, baby. Yeah. So anyway, back to Monique. It's real. She right now, she's the Colin Kaepernick of the cinema, of television, of entertainment. She cannot get work. I mean,
you know why though, man? Because she was an unlikely star. Like, she's not pretty. She's kind of fat.
But
you know what I mean?
But talented. She's talented.
Oh, I know.
She should be working. I don't care.
She should.
Big black actresses, big black female actresses, big black African American female actresses have always gotten roles. You look out throughout the 70s and 80s. God damn, Give Me a Break. The
Nell Carter.
Good Times. What's Happening?
Yeah.
These were all heavy-set black women who got their start in the theater. They're very talented. Mabel King, Nell Carter, Isabel Sanford. These are all heavy-set women that got their start in the theater and was able to bring it to television. Monique.
That's who Oprah based herself on. Oprah was based on that.
The show, The Parkers, that was supposed to be the girl who played the daughter. She took over that show. It became her show. That's how talented this woman is, and she cannot get work. Precious, she hit the ball out the park, and you know what? I think she's done one movie since Precious. This movie, and she was great in this movie. Look, she was great in this movie. She was the best actress in Almost Christmas.
She is, man, but she may have priced herself out of the market, right? I mean, she could have.
Yeah, she wanted more money from Netflix. Steve Harvey told her, "Oh, you should take what you could get, and then you could work your way up." She told Steve Harvey, she told Steve Harvey, "Your situation is different than mine. You got all these jobs. I'm trying to get one job. Well, you could say he could humble himself for one job because he's got 8 jobs."
That's good. Well, let's get into this one here. We got a lot of cast here to get through, so why don't we talk about who's in this movie? Because
we've got a tremendous cast here. We got the legendary Danny Glover, the man who was the heart and soul of the Lethal Weapon series. I think they're doing another one with him and Mel Gibson get back together for one more.
No,
but Danny Glover. I love Danny, and the last time we did a Danny Glover movie was Be Kind Rewind. And this is like similar role where he's this laid back. He's a teddy bear. I love Danny Glover. This is the perfect role for him, where he's a patriarchal figure. He just lost his wife, and he's trying to at least be happy for one Christmas because his family is coming to visit him for Christmas, and it's the first Christmas without his dearly departed wife.
Yeah, and he plays this thing to the hilt. His emotion is really, you could tell it. I think he was drawing on something. He's a good actor, Danny Glover.
He's a legend. He's a fucking legend, Danny Glover. He's been in so many great movies. Even if you take away the Lethal Weapon movies, he's been in one great role after another. And
well, you know what?
Then
we gotta let's do it.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, let's find a movie of his that when he's young, because I can't find anything. I mean, I didn't really look
Well, you
hard,
know what?
but
Even when he was young, he didn't look young.
oh,
Danny
okay.
Glover at 20 looked like he was 40. Right?
So he was saying he's too old for this shit. He's older
He
than
was
he's younger than we are.
He was a theater actor for many years. He got his break in 1985. He got 2 great roles in Witness, co-starring with Harrison Ford, and
Right.
The Color Purple. The Color Purple. Those movies put him on the map and got him the Lethal Weapon series. But you're not going to see anything with Danny Glover young, because that's Danny Glover in his 30s, and he looked like he was in his 50s.
Yeah, he did.
He's always had that mature look, right? Which works. 'Cause I'm sure when he was 22, he was bagging a lot of older chicks. But Danny Glover, Monique plays his sister-in-law. His daughters are played by the always great Gabrielle Union and Kimberly Elise. And this is another movie we've done of Kimberly Elise. It's like the 4th or 5th movie that we've done. In every damn movie she cried. She's one of the best criers in the history of motion pictures. She's always crying. J.B. Smooth plays her husband, a fucking bum, right? Just a bum.
From
right?
Larry David.
Who gets to bang the very, very delicious ass for days R&B singer Carrie Hilson, who I think is 35 in real life, and she don't look a day past 21 in this movie.
Whoa. Yeah.
I remember I told you when you see this movie, there's going to be an ass that come on the screen. You're going to be like, oh, shit. Well, that's her.
I knew instantly.
You knew it when you saw it, right?
Yeah.
You knew it when you saw it. Oh, she looks a lot like Lala. She looks like a younger version of Lala. Lala might be younger than her, but she looks much younger than Lala.
Yeah, but a more natural version. I mean, she's all natural.
Yes.
She's all natural.
Everything you see in Carrie Hilson is what God gave her, not what the doctors gave her. Right.
Right.
So that's Carrie Hilson.
She lights up.
I forgot the name of the son, the youngest son, but he was in the recent Shaft movie. Damn, I forgot his name, but he plays the youngest son.
But what's his name? Is that guy Evan?
Yes, Evan.
Jesse Usher. Jesse Usher.
Yes, Jesse Usher, who was in the Shaft movie, and I also believe, yes, he was in the Independence Day remake where he played Will Smith's son. Will Smith wasn't in the movie, I don't believe.
Okay, he played his son. You have Omar Epps.
You got Romani Malco, who was in The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Think Like a Man 1 and 2. So you have a star-studded cast. And yet Omar Epps, talk about, he's the reverse of Omar Epps, of Danny Glover. He's forever 30. Omar Epps is almost 50 years old. He don't look a day past 30.
Oh, no, but Gabrielle Union, man, she's amazing. She's almost 50.
She's almost 50. She look a day past 30. She's much older than her husband, and she looks younger. And she looks younger than her husband in real life.
And she's playing somebody that's 10 years younger. She's playing or even 20 years younger.
Well, it's funny. The first movie she did was that cheerleading movie, Get It On, or what was the name of that cheerleading movie? She was
Bring It On?
Played a six. Bring It On. She was in the first Bring It On movie. She was the leader of the black cheerleaders. And she was 28 years old, and she looked like she could be 17 in that movie.
Right.
Yeah,
she's
Angel's beauty. Gabrielle Union. And so that is the cast, and now you can get into the recap of the movie.
Yeah, this movie, man, it's like it opens up with like a 1970s montage of Walter and his wife Grace, and they look like they had a great loving relationship, and they get married. They raise 4 kids together.
I love about the opening sequences is they show each child as they're having a child, including they're in their early 50s having a child by accident in Evan.
Yeah, and they have one kid like late in their marriage. That's a
That's Evan.
surprise.
That's Evan. Jesse
Yeah.
Usher. Yeah.
And now, like 10 months later, and 5 days before Christmas, we catch up with it's the Myers and his children. We have the oldest daughter, Cheryl, played by Kimberly Elise. She's married to like some crazy.
Washed up basketball player. Washed up bum. Washed up NBA ball player / bum. Yeah.
Right. Oldest, her oldest son Christian Romany Malco is he's gonna run for the
Congress. He's running for Congress.
congressman, and he's married to Sonia, played by Nicole Ann Parker, and they have these two kids, Cameron Alcoya Brunson.
Oh,
and
by the way, the little girl that plays their daughter is beautiful. That is such a precious little girl. She is so damn adorable. Oh, the children in this movie, they're great. They're beautiful.
Marley,
and they're great.
Marley Taylor.
Yeah, all three of these kids, all four, because you are Gabrielle, the woman that plays the little girl that plays Gabrielle Union's daughter, the two kids that play Romani and Nicole's daughters, children, brother and sister, and then there's one more child. They're great. I love how they're videotaping everything.
Naya.
Yeah.
Naya,
all four
played
of these
by
children are great. Yeah.
Yeah, Nadej Bailey. So anyway, they try to maintain like this. She tries to maintain this. Gabrielle Union's in this, and she plays Rachel, and she's single. She got divorced from her husband, and she's trying to maintain like an independent image while showing that she can do it all alone. She's trying to go to law school, but right now she's working as a waitress, and she can't afford to stay in school. Christian and his family are the first to come. Now, when we look at before they come, like we see Walter, he's trying to bake this pie, this sweet potato pie that his wife made, and it's just not going well for him. He's not able to do it, and he's just like keeps trying and trying, and he just thinks that if everybody can come to his house for a Christmas and everybody get along, that somehow it would bring back the spirit of the wife he lost. But that's the overall. But and then we see him working at this homeless shelter, with like we did with Grace back in the day, and they show some flashbacks at that, and we see that there's this homeless shelter that's very important. That's where they met. And they ended up living there, or they were actually taken in by them at some point, right? When they were struggling, I think.
Yeah.
And then they became dedicated to it for that.
You talking about with the homeless shelter? What happened with the homeless shelter was his wife, when she was a young girl, was homeless.
Okay.
I think either she lost one or both her parents. She had to be taken in the homeless shelter, and as a way of giving back, when she got older, she always volunteered at that homeless shelter, and is why Danny Glover, Walter Myers, after his wife dies, visits the homeless shelter at least once a week.
Okay. And that's where he falls in love with her and marries her. They have a wonderful life. So he gets visited by her sister, played by Monique.
Monique, yeah.
Yeah, and this is 2016. So is this one of her last? I mean, this was before after
That's her
Precious,
last
right?
movie. She hasn't done anything since this movie. It's her last movie.
And she's here to visit, but she's a singer who's worked with all kinds of acts, including Mick Jagger.
She's a backup singer.
Yeah, and the Rolling Stones always did employ these. They would employ like women like her to sing behind the record. So
one of the all-time greatest backup singers in the history of touring is Lisa Fisher, who won a Grammy Award for her first album many years ago, 1991. Lisa Fisher was such a great backup singer that she would tour at the same time with Luther Vandross and the Rolling Stones, and the Rolling Stones would fly her in after she did her Luther performance so she could back up them. That's how vaunted she was. And she, till this day, she's still touring. She's in her 60s now. Still a sought after backup singer. So you're right. Rolling Stones would always had, and to this day continue to have African American women as their backup singers.
Right. Now, excuse me. So she's all exotic. She has all her. She decides she's gonna start making all the food, and there's some subtle jokes about, he already knows that her food's not gonna be what people want, but he just lets her go ahead. He's just happy just to have her there. You can tell. And then for the
company.
Yeah, because you can tell he's depressed. It's his first Christmas without his wife, and it's tough for him. So then Christian and his family are the first to arrive. He's brought his campaign manager, played by John Michael Higgins, and they're on this. Basically, it's like a campaign stop. They're just gonna spend some time of the holiday here, but then also do some press events in town. And some of these press events involving meeting big wigs that threaten the existence of this homeless shelter because they want to build, a shopping mall or something on top of it. But we find that out later. But you can tell he's kind of distracted, and he's not really into the whole weekend. He's just very much about his campaign. Then we have Rachel and Naya. They arrive, and that's Rachel and her daughter Naya, and that's where she runs into that old schoolmate Malachi, played by Omar Epps, and he offers to help her out with the bags, and she takes it as him basically implying that she can't do things herself, but you can tell she has some kind of weird grudge against him. She's mean to him. And it's not just playing hard to get.
Nah, you could tell that she was hurt by him, and it comes out later on why she has this resentment towards him.
Yeah, but she keeps playing on it. And at first, I think she's just kind of playing hard to get. And that one scene, it's funny. She's stuck inside of a window. I think she's trying to climb back into a window, and she gets. She needs help getting back in, and he has to ram her from behind to get.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Get off me! Don't look! What you looking at my tattoo for?
Yeah. So we see May. She starts cooking up her dinner for the family, and it's. Oh wait! Before that, Cheryl and Lonnie show up. And we see that Rachel and Cheryl don't exactly like each other. They already start snapping at each other. And then we see May. She starts cooking that dinner, the crazy dinner with all these weird ingredients. And everybody's completely disgusted by the food. And then at some point, this ignites some kind of argument. But I'm not remembering exactly what started it. Do you? Because it's just something dumb. They get into a fight.
But this is the tension they've had. They didn't get along as children, and you had the same dynamic in This Christmas with the two older daughters, played by Regina King and Sharon Leal. They had the resentment. They had the resentment fighting for who's the number one daughter, the number one child in the household. Same concept.
Okay, so they just start bickering, and Evan comes home in the middle of the argument, and he's just Rachel and Cheryl stormed up the stairs, and father stops them and tries to ask them to, be cool for just for 5 days, and May, also adds to it by scolding their behavior. And then, so the next day, the family goes to church where they start singing gospel songs, and later that night, Lonnie tries to fix a Santa decoration on top of the house for the kids. That's a funny scene.
Oh, by the way, the ad libs between JB Smooth and Monique is tremendous because they just going off on each other. They shout out to the other one.
Yeah, totally. And so then there's so he offers to and then we go to the he falls off the roof trying to fix this thing. I mean, he's going crazy trying to fix it, and he seems like a kind of a fun guy. So at first in this movie, he's a face, you could say. But you know, because he seems like
all the children love him. Yep, all the children love him.
And he's fun, yeah. But that shows you like that's a player too, you know. That's why players like they're fun to the women that they prey upon. So it's now 3 days until Christmas, and the family's starting to get kind of crazy, and you know, act a little bit more, having fun. They start dancing to their songs, and this is the dance scene where they're like the two sisters are totally getting along, and even Walter starts dancing, and they put up the Christmas tree, and then we see that like Evan, he starts to get sad when he misses his mom. Now we should talk about who Evan is. Evan is a football player who's going to be drafted into the NFL soon, but he's had an injury, so now he's kind of addicted to the painkillers, right?
Yes, he's addicted to the painkillers.
Yeah. So did we have something like this in the last movie that's like this? Because I don't think so. We didn't have somebody that was on drugs, did we?
No. But you look at the similarities. You've got the bickering sisters, like in this Christmas, and then you had one couple, the Regina King, whose husband cheats on him, right? And then you have the other sister. You got Gabrielle Union in this movie, and Sharon Leal in the other movie, where they both have childhood male friends who they wound up getting with. Mekhi Phifer in This Christmas and Omar Epps Almost Christmas.
Yeah. So he's later, you know, he gets very emotional because he feels like instead of being there for his mom, he was out there playing football. And his father has to reassure him and be like, no, your mom wanted you to be exactly there, and that's where she wanted you to be.
Yep.
So, but he's taking these pills and he runs out, and so he starts to ask his friend, who's who has hookups for,
with a drug dealer,
street drugs, and he gets him a whole fucking stack of them, more than he probably needs and he should ever get, because those things are, it's a commentary on the times, but you think about the devastation of opioid abuse at this point. It's like, it's unbelievable. You wouldn't even believe it.
Especially among high school athletes and college athletes, where besides PEDs, painkillers is a huge problem. Huge problem, because when you're playing high school football, you don't want to miss any games because the scouts are coming. You want to get that scholarship to play on a big time college team, and then when you get to college, you don't want you don't want to miss any games because you got NFL scouts coming to look at you. So there's a lot of pressure on these young athletes to destroy their bodies with steroids and painkillers.
So in any case, so this is happening too, and they just play through it, and they just keep taking them, and there's no way that they're like, I could do this forever. It's like, no, shit fucks you up, and sometimes you just end up on the floor dead. So, so he goes out. So Christian, he goes out with Brooks and does some promotional campaigning, and he's interviewed by the local news station. And they start asking him about whether he's in favor of a certain project, and he's saying, like, I don't know. But then we see that his campaign manager's already made a deal, like kind of behind his back, with a donor, and the donor wants to destroy the the buildings in case the
they want to destroy the homeless shelter. I think they're building either is it a shopping mall or like high rise buildings. And
right.
Danny Glover finds his father Walter finds out and says, "How could you do this? How could you do this?"
Yeah. And after several fights,
and he explains to Christian why that homeless shelter it means so much to him because his mother, Christian's mother, Walter's wife, lived there for a time as a child.
right. So then, I mean, also Lonnie, after having so many fights with, I mean, Lonnie, he seems like he's getting kind of the cold shoulder from his wife too. Like she doesn't seem to be that thrilled with him. We already see that there's some problems.
She got to be tired of supporting this guy. Remember when the movie started, he said, "Oh, I had a job at Best Buy for 2 weeks. I had to quit it. I can't work there. Come on, man."
Right, because he was a star for like a year in basketball, and they called him. What did they call?
He wasn't a star. He made a game-winning shot in the playoffs and got cut right after that and wound up playing in Europe.
Okay, that's right. That's right. And he's just like, yeah, he's just like a 15-minute fame dude that just like shot a basket. And but this woman who he goes into the supermarket, she completely remembers him, and her family was like totally into him at the time. It was just at the time when she was coming of age, so he became like her heartthrob. So what are the chances? And in a way, like you can't really blame this guy for taking this up.
Let me tell you something. And you know what? My father's rules, the Robert Silver Sr. rules of cheating on your wife applies in this instance. It does. Look, my father always said, if you're going to cheat on your wife, if you're going to cheat on your woman, make sure, hey, he gets caught. If you get caught, it was worth it. And you know how it was worth it? If the woman you cheated with looks much better than the woman you're with, than your wife or your significant other. And while acting-wise, Kimberly Elise blows away Kerry Hilson, but if you want to get with somebody, you pick Kerry Hilson over Kimberly Elise 99 days out of 99 and a half days. And the half days, you do pick Kimberly Elise because you're drunk. Right? So
I mean, if
he followed the Robert Silver Sr. rules of cheating on your wife. He got caught, and he got caught. We'll talk about it. He gets caught. Oh my God, he gets caught.
Well, let's face it. I mean, let's face it, dude. Like this guy, he was seduced.
And look, he's a
right.
loser. He's a loser. He's
right.
much older than her. He's about 20 years older than her. Look in the mirror, right? Of course, he's not going to turn that shit down.
What did they used to call him though? Like I forget what the term he used when he was just like, because I watched this a couple of days.
Shating. Yeah. When he made the basket. Shating. Yeah.
So she's totally seduces him because he keeps passing out his card to people and they don't know who the fuck he is. But then she does, and so he's just completely in awe of her.
But he doesn't give her the card. She recognizes him right away. Oh, Lonnie.
Right.
Lonnie.
Right.
And then she even invites him to the back, and he gets some ass.
Right. Yeah. They imply very heavily that he fucks her in that back room. Anyway, so she's Rachel's like keeps running into Malachi, and every time he tries to help her, she keeps brushing him off.
Yep.
And this is where Naya, the daughter of Rachel, starts talking to her mom about how sometimes, look, it's okay, to let the guy be the hero, when he wants to be. And she even mentions having her own boyfriend, and that completely takes Rachel off guard. She can't believe it. And before she has really a chance to answer, like she's shocked. her daughter walks away, and then the family gathers for some football, some touch football, and it's all fun and games until Lonnie gets overly aggressive and starts to and almost hurts Evan, and then this really upsets Rachel, and then they get into a big fight, and this is where and then we see Christian learns that his campaign team is involved in some rezoning in the community, which means that the homeless shelter, among other places, will be badly affected. And he tells Brooks, don't go public with this until after Christmas because he doesn't want any problem, with where he's at with this.
His father, and his father, especially with his father. His father told him how he feels about this place.
He's almost content to he wants to go through with it, but he's just wait until Christmas is over just so it doesn't spoil.
He's looking at his career first, but he gets caught because the next day it's in the papers that the homeless shelter will be taken down for this rezoning.
Yeah. Right. So Rachel goes to the supermarket. She
yes. And great scene.
And that's where she sees Jasmine, who's she's the a younger sister of one of her friends from high school. So she's like, "Oh, you remember me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm all growing up." And this is where Jasmine starts bragging about her new boo. I don't know why you would be bragging about this old dude being your boo, but that's just.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Logan. I'll speak it from experience. Young women, when they get with an older dude, they like to show that motherfucker off. Oh, that's my daddy. That's my sugar daddy. That's my boo. That's my husband. How many times have we called that by women? I'm not giving you a ring. So this is very realistic, because she's stupid.
Okay. Yeah, she's showing.
When she was born, this character, God gave her beauty and no brains.
and she's so giddy with it, and she just starts showing her pictures not only of them kissing, but I think of some sexual stuff.
Yeah, and he's like, and you see Gabrielle Union, great acting by Gabrielle Union. Rachel, her eyes are like, oh, I got to invite you over Christmas dinner.
Now, we should talk about the dynamic between the two sisters, because the sister that she doesn't like looks like she has this perfect life. She's a very successful dentist, I believe. And has a husband.
She's got a loop. It's not a perfect life. She's got a loser for a husband. She's carrying this guy. Yeah. She's carrying this guy. And one rule that Lonnie broke, that my father has, is if you have a good woman, regardless of cheating on her, you should never cheat on her. Because if you're not making any money, if you're not contributing to the household, and she's taking care of you, keep your mouth shut, clean the house, take the kids to school, do what you can cook, do everything you can to at least contribute. And don't wander from the house, because as you see, when he does get caught, he's out the door, and where the fuck's he going? That should be the sequel.
He's got nothing.
The sequel should be him living in the homeless shelter after his wife divorces his ass.
Well, not really, though, because he'll get alimony now. I mean, I guess you get half, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. You're right. She would have to take care of him. You're right.
But so they see that so she's meeting Jasmine for the first time, and she's just like, I'm going to get back at my sister because her sister's giving her shit for being divorced.
That's right.
And her life not going the way she planned. And so they're just constantly competing, about who's better. And so this is a perfect way to get one over on her sister. So she decides to invite this woman to Thanksgiving dinner because this woman mentions that she's been invited to Chicago for a whole weekend by this guy. So, he's already extended that invitation because that's where he's from, I guess, right? I mean, obviously. So then Rachel sees Malachi again, and this finally builds into an argument because she's just so uptight, and he's just finally like, "What the fuck?" And she finally explains that I think she was his date for the prom, and then she overheard him with his friend, and his friend was basically saying like, "Oh, this chick, you're gonna be able to fuck her so fast."
Right. Yeah.
You're going to be able to fuck her so easily. And she didn't notice any reaction from this dude. And so she ran away and she got pissed. She didn't see the fact that he actually punched this dude in the face for that. But she decided at that moment she wasn't going to go to the prom with him. And he asked somebody else. And because I guess he didn't like, some women, they'll break up with you just so you can chase after them, And I think that's what she wanted him to do. And he didn't do it, and
but,
also she wanted.
But you know what? It didn't make any sense on her part. Real quickly, they say she looked like a librarian, like a bookworm with the glasses, right? Omar Epps is this muscular, dark-skinned brother. You know all the chicks want him. He ain't gonna be chasing her. What you thinking?
Right. Well, that's the deal. Like that's why they thought she was gonna be easy pickings.
Yeah.
And they were like giving him a backslap, being like, "Oh man, that's a good choice to go to prom with somebody you're gonna fuck that one." So she got all offended by it. So I could see it. I mean, I could see both sides.
I can understand why she's upset, but I can't see her thinking he's gonna chase her. He's the big man on campus. And Omar Epps at 18. You saw Juice. You remember Juice? That's Omar Epps at 18, 19 years old. So, Omar Epps was a good-looking dude back then. And he's still, look at him now. Still a great-looking
No, I remember.
I mean, yeah.
I remember when I was back when that was my age, like some girl dumped me, and I was so happy. I was just like, oh my God, I'm liberated. And I just went around, and she was so like, she was so pissed at me. She's like, you just picked right up. And I was like, yeah. Fuck this shit.
That's right.
I don't need this.
That's right. They want to see you hurt and crying and but they can't take it when you get right back on the horse. Get right
in
back
fact,
on
you're
the
happy.
Horse.
You're happy. Like it's almost like they let you off the hook. They're like, oh my God, she dumped me. Thank God.
I don't have to deal with that shit again.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so she's still holding this grudge against him, and he's just like, oh, by the way, I punched that dude in the nose, and you didn't see that. And she's like, well, why didn't you come tell me that? I don't think he even knew she overheard him. So it was kind of like, I guess it's more her fault than his fault, but that gets resolved in that moment, and they start kissing, and that's it. Then on Christmas Eve, the sisters are trying to each make their own meals, and they both end up getting burnt, and they start blaming each other, and they start getting into a big little fight again until they stumble upon this box that's being searched about for the whole house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this box has all the recipes of his mother's stuff, and his dad has been looking for it ever since she died, and they never could find it until they started fighting about, where to find ingredients to remake their dishes that they burnt. So they ended up bonding over just looking at these recipes and remembering their mom, and that's they kind of reconnect over that. And that's when she starts to realize, Rachel starts to realize, oh shit, like I can't believe I invited this bitch over just to embarrass her, and she calls her and cancels it.
It's not cool.
And then we see that Walter is reading the morning paper, and he finds out about Christian's campaign rezone plan, and he confronts his son about it and telling him that, like, look, we're supposed to help others, and if not hurt them, It's just like that's the motto of their.
Right. Yeah.
And he really, gives him shit about it, and they get into a big blow up about that. And then Walter tries to he keeps trying to make the sweet potato pie, and then Dee comes by and she says, when Grace made it, she was always smiling, and you haven't been smiling lately. And so he decides to start making the pie smiling, and that ends up being the secret ingredient for the pie.
Here you go.
So it's Christmas Day, and the family plus Brooks and Eric are gathered at the table for their meal, and Rachel and Cheryl are arguing, and like Evan finally reveals to the family that he found the documents that Walter kept as he's trying to sell the house. Like Evan stumbles upon these, and he's appalled, and this is, like you said, the same storyline from the last movie that we talked about. Like this, it's like lifted right from it, but it's the same idea. It's like, this is the family house, this is all our memories, this is our memory of mom, and the bottom line is, for Walter, it's just not the same without his wife, and he just can't take it anymore. So he's like, it's my house, and they get into this big fight about it. And everybody's freaking out. Rachel, Lonnie, and right at that moment, that's when Jasmine shows up, and she's just like, that is the most tense moment of the movie.
In this spectacular pair of pants, she walks through that door. The half takes up 2/3 of the screen.
Yeah, stunning girl, and they it's almost
stunning outfit.
This reminded me, what was going on here reminded me a lot of Three's Company. The way they it's like total misunderstanding. People trying to talk.
Yes, she's a total airhead because she doesn't understand that the man's married. She's acting like, oh, Lonnie, oh, thank you, Rachel, for the surprise. Oh. When are you going to take me to Chicago?
The funniest thing is when he's trying to block, he's trying so that she doesn't see him. What's this dude, Lonnie, right? He's bending as his wife bends to eat, so that the chick doesn't see that she's actually sitting 2 feet away from the dude. She doesn't know that he's in this family, So that's when it finally gets revealed, because she starts showing the pictures of them together, and the wife storms out and comes back with a shotgun and starts going after Lonnie, and it's and then they finally wrestle the gun away and then she doesn't end up killing Lonnie, but then Cameron then runs out with his phone. And we find out that Evan had stormed off after the big fight about the house, and he had taken lots of his painkillers and crashed with his car. So he's been hospitalized, and everybody's all concerned now about that, and that kind of ends everything. Yeah, and that's where we find out that Evan, one of the reason he's taking the pain meds is because he's depressed about not being there for his mom. And that's when he gets reassured by his dad. It's like, no, man, it's like your mom wanted you to be playing there, and that she would be so proud of you. So you were exactly where you needed to be, and that's where she wanted you. She wouldn't want you sitting there waiting for her to die by her side, wasting your life while she's dying. So, I mean, there was that very touching scene. Rachel and Cheryl make up, and then Cheryl's just like, look, I was going to find out sooner or later. It's probably better. You probably did me a favor by inviting Jasmine over, even though that was fucking harsh. And then he's like, maybe you can help me with the divorce, And Rachel actually finds a note from Cheryl with a check for $20,000 to help her through law school. So I guess that's her first payment for her, helping through the divorce. Maybe she's going to become her divorce lawyer. Um, and moments later, we see Malachi. He's outside. He's wearing a tux and standing next to a limo with a boombox, playing the music that he. It was a mix that he made for Rachel back in the day, and it's all these like old school tunes.
Oh
And there's a
yes,
lot of
one
good
of my
music in this.
hey, Tender Love, one of my all-time favorite songs by the Force MDs, is the first song he plays on the boombox.
Yeah, and it's great because he's just gonna relive their night of prom, but she looks like she's about to reject him because she just runs back in the house, and you don't know whether she's gonna come out. And at a certain point, he's just like, man, this bitch, forget about her, man. She's never gonna come around. And then she finally comes out, and she's able to fit in her old prom dress. After how many years later is this supposed to be? 10 years?
It's
I don't
supposed to
know.
be 10 to 15. I think it's 10 years later.
Yeah.
No, high
Most
school. I
women.
think it's 15. I think it's 15 years later. But look, she's probably, well, I remember Gabrielle Union. The first time I saw her was when she was 27, 28. And she's at damn near 50, 20 years later, she's still built the same way she was 20 years ago. So,
Yeah. And she fits
yeah.
into this dress. Most women would not be fitting into that dress. Like they would have to get another dress that looks similar, but so she fits right in. They go out and they have their prom night, and it looks like they're going to get together. And what's his story? Was he ever married before this? I didn't really remember. I think he was just single.
I don't think they
It's
didn't
not
do
really
a backstory.
not said anything.
They just talked about them in high school, but nothing since.
Right. Yeah. So they have they have that night together, and then Walter's sitting in the kitchen by himself until May joins him, and he's still really kind of hurting, knowing that his first Christmas since Gray has passed on. But then May assures him that he gave her sister a happily ever after. He said that, I lived my life the way I wanted it, and she lived her life the way she wanted it, and that's where she wanted to be with you, and you did it. You gave her what she wanted. And they finally try his sweet potato pie, which he made while smiling, and it came out very good, and it turns out to be great, and he invites the whole family down, and they all eat pie together, and it's happily ever after. So that's the that's the whole synopsis of the movie now. But we can talk about some analysis here of what we thought that the themes are of this movie. So what do you think? Biggest theme of this movie?
The biggest theme of this movie is this is a perfect Christmas movie with dealing with loss. He lost his wife. The children lost their mother. The grandchildren lost their grandmother. You're dealing with loss. We're dealing with family around Christmas time. You see this theme all the time in all these other movies. This Christmas, 4 Christmases. A lot of these Christmas movies based around the same thing where the family is bickering, especially the siblings, not speaking to each other. Christmas time comes and a crisis brings them together. In this Christmas, what brought them together was when one of the brothers was AWOL from the army and got arrested, and so that brings them together. And in this movie, the youngest son getting into a car accident, and the infidelity of one of the sisters, and they get brought together. And also, you didn't mention you forgot to mention this, and I forgot to mention this in this movie when Christian rejects the offer to sell out.
Oh my God, I totally skipped over that. I had it in my notes too.
Yeah.
Yes, let's talk about it real quick because I totally skipped that paragraph. He did. He was going to this meeting with the fundraiser that was going to give him a lot of money for his campaign, and he was having dinner with him, and he just decided, even after he had the fight with his dad, he decided, I can't do this. He just got up, walked away, and then right to the shelter and started working side by side with his dad. So that's the kind of campaign he wants to run. And he's changed, that Christmas spirit overtook him. and made him not sell out the homeless shelter, which his campaign manager was like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll knock everything down, and then you can have a new homeless shelter." It's like there's no way they're going to put a homeless shelter in.
Yeah. They're not building a new homeless shelter in a gentrified area. No, it's not happening.
Right. So that's actually that's a big twist. That's a big happy ending part that we didn't mention. So yeah. So that's the non-family. Well, that actually is family drama. It's just it's actually more political.
That was, yeah.
But it's also politics. It's like, keeping from the corporate takeover of shit.
Exactly. Exactly. And the son not being a sellout to the corporations.
Right. So he turns out to be a good guy and a noble politician and not some sellout piece of shit. So that's but I mean also, so the theme of that is don't sell out, remember what's important. And then also just the whole cheating thing, like you're always going to get caught and it's going to blow up in your face.
And you're going to wind up losing the woman that's been taking care of you all your life.
Yeah. Especially if it's during, like I was realizing that, like, because I'm with the in-laws this weekend, and it's like,
right. Yeah,
I could totally mess up.
You're at her father's house, and you fucking.
And what?
Well, what a clown! He's just a clown. What a dumbass.
Yeah, you can just. I was just saying, like the Christmas meetups with the in-laws is a perfect time to wreck your entire relationship. If you really want to do it, you can do it.
Hey, if you're looking to get a divorce, that's the perfect opportunity right there.
Yeah, just throw a drink in her dad's face and you're done. You could just go on.
And while he's getting mad, that's why I'm bagging this chick, because of him.
Oh. Yeah, you could just blow shit up. And sometimes you might want to, but just, hold it back. I know, it's a tough time holiday.
He didn't want to, because you could tell he was loving the fact that he was being taken care of.
Yeah, he just wanted some quickie stuff, and but how did he had to know. Actually, he didn't have to know because Rachel did this. Rachel engineered this, but it's funny. It made for a really great scene. Probably, I think the best scene of the movie
that was the best scene and the funniest scene of the movie.
Yeah, and it was built up well.
Which was great. J.B. Smoove and Monique brought comic relief to a very, very serious movie.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really mention much of Monique's character, but all through the movie, she was giving her opinion and, like, swearing. And every scene she was in was great. So, the back and forth between her and J.B. Smoove, a.k.a. Lonnie, was great. You saw these are two stand-up comedians, and they go back and forth with each other. They had a great going back and forth, and then also we had there was one of the friends of the younger kid was hitting on her the whole time.
Boy, if you don't stop it,
I got dildos older than you.
That was. I got dildos older than you.
Yeah, she had some classic lines in this, and I'm sure if you just go down and look at the Wikipedia for this, you'll see all her lines are incredible. So yeah, but now I would imagine, let's talk about her just career for a second. She has a career in stand-up. She should just stick with that. She can do stand-up, right?
I think right now that's her livelihood. She stays busy touring stand-up. She's getting no acting roles. Netflix offered her a deal. I understand why she balked at it. Netflix is threw all this money at Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Tucker. They gave these guys millions. They offered her, I think, like $1.4 million. Meanwhile, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Tucker got tens of millions. she's talking about, I mean, gender issues, gender issues. I'm female, they're male. It's not fair. I understand why she balked at the offer.
I think people just really don't like her attitude. It gets on people. Like she's very arrogant. And she just has to like. I know they tell her to be humble, and they're like guys don't have to be humble, but I mean,
Look,
she's
Dave Chappelle is not humble. Chris Rock is not humble. Chris Tucker's never been humble. I don't know. I think Jerry Seinfeld might be the only humble comedian out there. These guys aren't. Oh, Adam Sandler too. But these guys aren't humble. These guys are arrogant. Dave Chappelle is arrogant. Dave Chappelle is so arrogant. He took $50 million and gave it back to Comedy Central and left the country. All right. I mean, Monique, that she's never been in the papers for any type of domestic dispute, assault, nothing. She's led her life the right way. I applaud her for her stance. She's like, I want to be paid what I'm worth. If I'm not getting paid what I'm worth, fuck you, Netflix.
Fuck you.
I'll just fuck you, Hollywood. I'll just do my stand-up tours, and until I get something that I feel I deserve, I'll go for it. She's not shucking and jiving. I give her credit because most women, forget women, most comedians that are just looking to get, Netflix offered me $1 million. All right, I'll take it. She knows her worth. She knows her worth.
Because there's like this, there's this women supporting actor, nominate or whatever, win on the Oscars. That's like a jinx to a lot of women I've seen. Like people get that and then they don't get work after that. Have you seen that?
But you see, I think that's BS because Meryl Streep has always gotten roles. Now, in her 70s, she still gets roles. All right, and to me, that's total.
Yeah, like Mira Sorvino. Actually, Mira Sorvino was blacklisted by.
But she was by Harvey Weinstein. That's a different story. Yeah. It had nothing to do with a curse. All right, Halle Berry continues to get work since she had an Oscar. She hasn't had a great role,
Hunt?
but she stays working.
Helen Hunt.
You know what happened with Helen Hunt? Ageism, and Denzel Washington brought that up. Denzel Washington in a recent interview talked about how actresses like Helen Hunt, who are great actresses, do not get work because of their age, because of the age discrimination in Hollywood.
But Meryl Streep's still getting roles. She's just the exception that proves the rule.
Jennifer Hudson has been working. Jennifer Hudson, who won an Oscar for Dreamgirls, is playing Aretha Franklin. She's playing Aretha Franklin. You can't get a bigger role than that.
That's right. Yeah. And she held out for it, too. I guess she could have taken a lot of smaller roles, and she didn't.
No, because Aretha, before she died, Aretha told the people working on the movie that her wish was Jennifer Hudson, nobody else. No Beyonce, none of this shit. Jennifer Hudson is the only one out there that can act and sing like her.
Wow, she requested her, huh?
She requested Jennifer Hudson.
That's great,
and man. I give credit to the production company. They could have changed their mind after Aretha died. No, they stayed true to Aretha's beliefs, but they probably had no choice because Aretha's family probably would have balked at it too. They didn't want any problems with Aretha's family. But there you go. She wanted Jennifer Hudson. So what the production
Well, that's going to reinvigorate her career because she was kind of dying off.
Beyonce's going to be in the movie. It's funny, right? Beyonce's in this movie, but now the roles are reversed. In Dreamgirls, Beyonce was the star, and Jennifer Hudson was the supporting actress. In this movie, Jennifer Hudson's the star, Beyonce's the supporting actress.
But Dreamgirls was like fictitious, right? It wasn't a real
actual Supremes. No, it was based on the Supremes.
Okay, but it actually wasn't called the Supremes. They had different names and shit, right?
They had to change the names because Diana Ross wasn't going to go for that.
And they had different songs too, right?
Yeah, they didn't use any Supreme songs. No, the Dreamgirls is based on the Supremes, but without the same music, and they changed a few things. But if you look at the movie, Jamie Foxx is Berry Gordy, and Dreamgirls are the Supremes.
Okay. So this movie, though,
is the Diana Ross. Beyonce is the Diana Ross character. Jennifer Hudson is the Florence Ballard character.
So somebody should really do the Supremes movie, man. The
No,
real
I
one.
don't think that'll happen as long as Diana Ross is alive, because they would have to bring up the fact that she was sleeping with the owner of the company, and one of the original lead singer got bumped, so Berry Gordy's mistress, Diana Ross, could get that part. So that's not happening as long as Diana Ross is alive.
Was that in Dreamgirls?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Jamie Foxx was dating Jennifer Hudson's character, leaves her for Beyonce.
Okay, and that's what happened. And that's the real story.
So and it's funny, right? Diana Ross, while she was with Supremes, marries a white guy, right? Has a child. Right. Years later, we find out that child wasn't that guy's. That child was Berry Gordy's child.
Oh. Yeah. Good for the kid, man.
Rhonda Ross Kendrick is Berry Gordy's daughter. That's Diana Ross's oldest child.
Wow. That's funny, man. So, anyway, so all this intrigue when it comes to that.
You won't have a Supremes movie as long as Diana Ross is still alive.
Right. But Aretha, so now you're gonna have Beyonce in the movie. Who's she gonna play?
She's playing another singer. I don't think it's a backup singer. I think it's a contemporary of Aretha Franklin's. I got to look up on IMDb. But Jennifer Hudson's the star. It don't matter who Beyonce's playing. There was no big. Dude, Aretha Franklin is the single greatest R&B soul female singer of all time. I think she won best R&B performance by a female artist, something like 8 years in a row. The Grammy, 8 years in a row. It's ridiculous. She's the queen of soul. Period. Right. That was her nickname. She was, oh my, and what was great about Aretha was she wasn't drop dead gorgeous. She wasn't built like a Beyonce or Rihanna. She wasn't a glamorous looking woman. It was all about her talent. Her talent was above her looks, everything. That's what you was like, oh, that's how you know you're great. And
so Jennifer Hudson's going to have to gain weight, right? She's going to have to gain weight for this.
She did gain weight for the role, but she lost it because she's doing a talk show circuit style, and they showed before and after pictures. She gained weight, but she took it off. They already finished filming.
Oh, she's done filming.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I wish I caught her when she still had some of that weight back, you know? I'm just kidding. I'm like...
She looks great. She looks great. With 50 pounds or 50 pounds off, she looks great.
She's actually much prettier than
dumbass. What's that? David Otunga? Stupid motherfucker.
Dumb fuck. Beat her up. Dumb fuck.
Dumbass.
Where's he now? He's nowhere. I mean, he's not on TV anymore.
Wherever he's at and whoever he's with, she ain't Jennifer Hudson.
Hell no. She's a beauty. But she lost all that weight, man. That's too bad. I guess she was psyched to be able to eat again and eat like all that shit back on. But she brought it off again. That's good. So she's now in good shape. She's actually like in 100%, not fat at all, right?
Yeah, she lost it all. She lost it all.
Yeah, like in that Mr. and Pete movie.
Oh,
she was in good shape.
Great in that fucking movie. Oh God, that's the sexiest drug addict I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was the one unrealistic thing about that. Usually they're a lot uglier.
Yeah, yes, a lot scrawnier. Yeah.
Okay, man. So I know we have some series. I got the DVD series of this, and we should warn our listeners about it because they're gonna have to watch this shit too before we talk about it. So
it's 22 episodes. Now, our next show, we will take next week off because I want Logan to catch up. So we'll be doing, in 2 weeks, we'll be doing the very final episode of Rich Man Poor Man Book 2. Now, in the 1970s, miniseries were spectacular rating draws for ABC, CBS, and NBC. And ABC had a great run with Roots, the first Rich Man Poor Man and the second Rich Man Poor Man book 2. You don't have to watch the first Rich Man Poor Man. You don't.
Okay.
You can start from Rich Man Poor Man book 2 episode 1 because and also this series, Rich Man Poor Man book 1 and Rich Man Poor Man book 2 launched the careers of Peter Strauss, who became one of the great TV actors, and he did a lot of miniseries. He stayed working. He's still working to this day. And the career of one of the greatest actors of the last 40 years, Nick Nolte. This miniseries, the first one, launched their careers. Nick Nolte and Peter Strauss play two brothers from an Irish family, a middle-class Irish family. The reason it's Rich Man, Poor Man is because Nick Nolte is considered the poor man because he's a construction worker, dock worker, boxer, who's stupid. Everything he does is with his hands. He's not that intelligent. And the rich man is Peter Strauss, who plays this lawyer and eventually he becomes a senator. So even though they're from the same family, they walk different paths. Nick Nolte, street dude. Peter Strauss, the Harvard guy, who becomes a lawyer and a senator. It's great because it starts in the 1930s and it finishes up in 1969, 1970. So it's 40 years of this family. Okay,
so you're saying though that nothing from book 2 has anything. It's not based on anything from book 1.
No. Book 2 continues where book 1 leaves off, but you don't have to watch book 1. You don't.
Okay.
In order to enjoy book 2, because in the very first episode, and I'm gonna tell everybody what happens. First episode without spoiling the rest of the series. Rich Man, Poor Man, book 1 is the two brothers, Rudy and Tom, played by Peter Strauss and Nick Nolte, respectively, as they're growing up, as they're fighting amongst each other, but there's love among the brothers. The series ends where Rudy becomes senator. The first miniseries, book 1 ends, and Nick Nolte character moves to France with his family. Book 2 starts with Falconetti, who's a thorn in both brothers' side, and he's the biggest enemy of Nick Nolte's character, sleeping with Peter Strauss's wife, and because she's drunk, she's a lush. Nick Nolte catches them and gets the wife out of there, and he's like, man, mind your business, and he fucks up Falconetti. And Falconetti's so upset that he has Nick Nolte's character killed. And that's where it starts. And you don't have to watch book 1 because book 2 starts from his death and the repercussions and the ramifications of that death as Peter Strauss winds up adopting Nick Nolte's son, and now you have the entire book 2 is based on him as a senator, possibly running for president, but Falconetti, who goes to jail for Nick Nolte's murder, only gets 5 years, comes out, and he's bent on revenge on killing Peter Strauss's character. And the final episode number 22, has one of the single greatest endings in the history of television. So that's why we're doing that last episode. I remember as a little boy, I was 11 years old. No, 10 years old. No, I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old, 77, watching this, and I couldn't believe that fucking episode. I could not believe. Great fucking ending to the series, and it was great miniseries. 22 episodes. So that's why we'll be back in 2 weeks. 22.
Right.
I'm up to episode 8. I've been watching it. I mean, just a great fucking show. Great show. And Peter Strauss,
man.
I think he won an Emmy for this role, and deservedly so.
Sounds good, man. All right, I'm going to get cracking on that, and we'll be looking at that in 2 weeks. So have a happy New Year, everybody. Juan Silva, thanks so much, man, for another great year. And we'll be back talking Rich Man, Poor Man, Book 2. Talk to you soon.
Later.
Peace.